Hello and welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece. Today we have a review of manga chapter 883, Snack Time. And well, it's safe to say, I wasn't expecting this. This chapter came completely out of left field in true One Piece style, and I just have to start with Katakuri. What the hell? I knew he was too cool for One Piece. When he was first introduced, I remember thinking to myself that he felt out of place in the series. He was just too damn cool and didn't have a classic One Piece quirkiness about him. Now what happened here in this chapter is Oda took the coolest, most awesome character and made him into a complete joke. And I love it. The moment where Luffy interrupted Katakuri's snack time and we see his jaw unhinged, consuming a giant donut, is probably one of the funniest moments of the arc, especially juxtaposed with Brulee's words. Some of my particular favorites were, "He's never laid down," which came right after Katakuri enthusiastically sang about lying down while eating his delicious, immoral donuts. And then, of course, the absolute best line, "always dignified," which is on the same panel as Katakuri realizing that he's been seen, still with an engorged face, and with food and tea dropping down the side of it. So it would seem that Katakuri has a guilty pleasure for, well, pleasure. He keeps up his strong man image, even amongst his family, to generate fear and possibly a bit of artificial strength. Meanwhile, he takes this moment every day to indulge. Before he walks into the Mochi Shrine, he even has a line about how sugar is a source of power, which he says in a very manly way. And it just turns out to be a hilarious excuse. He just wants to eat sweet things, just like his mother. And when you think about it, the similarities to Big Mom have been surprisingly non-existent within her children, apart from, adopting her trademark pink. So it's actually really, really nice to see that this mad eating thing was actually passed on to at least one of her children in some form. I mean, Katakuri seems more upset with the fact that he was caught in the act, but he was also quite annoyed that snack time had been pushed back by 40 minutes. And speaking of his appearance, what the hell is up with those spiky teeth? It reminds me a lot of when Jack was revealed to be a fishman, and that's why he'd been covering up his mouth. Now, given that Big Mom's master plan is to incorporate every race in the world into her family, I don't think it's a huge stretch to think that Katakuri might actually be part fishman, and is hiding that for the same reason Jack was, or I don't know, maybe even part mink or something. Either way, I don't think he's entirely human. Moving on to Luffy this chapter, and we had some great moments with this guy as well. First off, I cannot tell you how happy the first few pages made me when Katakuri stopped his Gear 4th transformation. In theory, that's what every one of Luffy's opponents should have done, but didn't, and they paid the price for their arrogance. Katakuri stopped him midway through, and even made a point of saying that he will not underestimate Luffy. Right before he leaves for snack time, assuming Luffy is dead, and thus underestimates him. Luffy's re-emergence from the Mountain of Mochi was also pretty hilarious. I love the callback to the Cracker fight, and once again I think it's important to note that Luffy will never be defeated by food. Luckily though, we're not going back into Tank Man, as Luffy goes for a jog and loses all the weight gained. If only it were that easy in the real world. And most importantly, Luffy has now discovered a way to hit Katakuri. Exactly what is it? Well, we don't know, but there are a couple of theories I've thought of. Firstly, there's the kind of mundane idea that Katakuri just might not be able to use his advanced observation haki when he can't concentrate. So right now he's annoyed because his snack time got ruined and his cool man image destroyed, so it might be putting Katakuri on tilt. He also had one line during the wedding where he said he needed to concentrate right now, so I don't know, the theory might work, but it's pretty boring. Plus, the way that Luffy said that he gets how his ability works now makes me think that there's more of a trick to it rather than just being unable to concentrate. So also on the list of possibilities is that Katakuri might not be able to use more than one form of haki at once. So because Katakuri is using armament haki at the moment, he was unable to see Luffy's attack coming with his observation haki. Now I'm not so sure about the logic behind this one. I don't think it's ever been an issue for anybody in the past, but I think it is just worth noting because this is really the first time they've clashed with armament haki, so that might be a clue. Although my favorite theory is that Katakuri might only be able to see into the future when his opponents initiate an action. So for example, if Luffy attacks Katakuri, he can use his observation haki to predict Luffy's movements at an advanced rate. However, if Katakuri initiates the attack, he isn't able to accurately predict his opponent's response using that same ability. And I think this makes a lot of sense with what we've been seeing so far. Katakuri has been responding to Luffy's attacks by one-upping him, never initiating them. However, in this case, Katakuri is a bit on tilt, so he went ahead and attacked Luffy, resulting in being counterattacked. Also, at the end of the chapter, Luffy was finally able to transform into Gear 4th, but only after Katakuri attacked him with his Raindrop Mochi. Personally, I hope this particular theory is the case, because I think it would make for a very interesting fight. Essentially, Luffy just has to make Katakuri attack him, and they can fight on equal footing. Now, of course, the obvious thing to do here is Katakuri just doesn't attack, but then again, that doesn't really achieve anything either, because he won't be able to subdue Luffy by doing nothing. And he'll probably get gradually more and more irritated because he's missing another snack time. Or Luffy can just go around to anybody in the mirror world and just shout out Katakuri's secret. Or in fact, shout through the mirrors themselves to anywhere on Whole Cake Island, meaning that the burden of attack is well and truly on Katakuri. So yeah, for the next few chapters, I predict we'll get this fight on equal footing through something along those lines. And I think that pretty much does it for this week. It was a rare chapter where we spent the entire time focusing on just one area, but I think it was great. I'm glad Katakuri finally feels like he belongs in One Piece, and I'm very keen to see the continuation of this fight. If you enjoyed this video, then please feel free to like, favorite, or subscribe, and please do comment with your thoughts on the chapter. This has been the Grand Line Review, and I'll see you next time.